what if the iPhone 18 Pro Max isn't just Apple's next phone fatigue, but the first sign that Apple is quietly changing direction? Because behind the leaks, the specs, and the renders, there's something bigger happening here. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the iPhone 18 Pro Max could be Apple's most calculated move in years. Hey, welcome back. If you've been following Apple long enough, you already know this. Real upgrades don't scream, they whisper. And right now, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is whispering a very interesting story. Today, we're breaking down the confirmed leaks, the unexpected design decisions, the battery shift Apple didn't want to admit, and the camera jump that could quietly reset the smartphone pecking order. This is where things get interesting. Let's start with the thing everyone immediately looks at, the front of the phone. Because yes, the dynamic island conversation is back. Again, new reports claim Apple is testing under-display Face ID hardware, which would finally allow them to remove the dynamic island entirely, and every single year we hear the same promise. Every single year it doesn't ship. After digging into the details, the more realistic scenario isn't full under-display Face ID just yet. Instead, Apple appears to be shrinking the entire layout into a much smaller punch hole design. Not a true full-screen iPhone, but closer than we've ever been. Prototypes with fully hidden sensors do exist, but the tech still isn't ready for mass production. Translation: Apple isn't gambling the iPhone on experimental hardware. They're inching forward on purpose, and that cautious approach carries over to something far more important than design trends: battery life. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is getting heavier. Not by much, around 3 grams. But that tiny increase tells a massive story. Apple is finally prioritizing battery capacity over thinness. After the underwhelming response to ultra-thin designs, the message was loud and clear. People don't want thinner phones. They want phones that last. That extra weight means a noticeably larger battery, better thermals, and more room for upgraded camera hardware. This isn't Apple backtracking, it's Apple course correcting. If you've ever had your phone die at 6 p.m., you already know why this matters. Performance is where things start to quietly separate the iPhone 18 Pro Max from everything before it. The A20 Pro chip is expected to be built on TSMC's new 2-nanometer process. That's not just a spec flex, it means better efficiency, lower heat, and significantly improved on-device AI processing. And for the first time, Apple is reportedly leveling the playing field across the lineup with 12 gigabytes of RAM. No more artificial gaps between base models and Pros when it comes to memory. This directly impacts multitasking, AI features, and long-term software support. This is Apple building for where iOS is going, not where it's been. Connectivity also gets a meaningful upgrade. Apple's new C2 modem enters the picture alongside Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6.1 testing. Lower latency, stronger reliability, better power efficiency, the boring stuff that actually makes a phone feel faster every single day. Most people won't mention this in comments, but everyone will feel it. And speaking of feeling upgrades, let's talk cameras, because this is where Apple might be quietly planning something bold. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to feature a triple camera system with a variable aperture 48 megapixel main sensor, a 48 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 64 megapixel periscope lens, offering up to 10 times optical zoom. But here's the wild card. Insiders claim Apple is testing a stacked 200 megapixel sensor for the Pro Max. Nothing is guaranteed yet. This is still in testing, but even the possibility signals a shift in philosophy. Apple doesn't chase megapixels unless there's a reason. Paired with smarter AI-powered video tools, faster processing, and improved low-light HDR, the Pro Max could quietly become the best iPhone camera Apple's ever shipped. Not through gimmicks, but through computation. If you care about video, this matters more than you think. Design leaks took a sharp turn too. Earlier rumors suggested a frosted translucent back showing hints of the internals, a bold, almost experimental look. That idea now appears to be scrapped. Instead, Apple is going for something harder, a perfectly unified color between the frame and the glass back. Matching aluminum and glass seamlessly isn't easy, which tells us this design wasn't chosen for attention. It was chosen for refinement. 3 new colors are currently in testing: deep burgundy, brown, and a bold purple. Only one makes it to launch. Quick question: which one would you pick? Drop it in the comments. I'm rooting for the burgundy. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to feature a 6.9-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR display with record-breaking brightness, thinner bezels, a smaller dynamic island, and a 42-megapixel front camera. Storage goes all the way up to 2 terabytes, paired with 12 gigabytes of RAM and a massive 5,200 milliamp battery for the eSIM model. This isn't a flashy redesign year. It's something more dangerous. It's Apple tightening every screw, and that's why the iPhone 18 Pro Max is fascinating. Apple isn't reinventing the iPhone. They're eliminating weaknesses: battery anxiety, thermal limits, camera ceilings, performance bottlenecks. If you're on an iPhone 17, this might not be a must upgrade, but if you're on anything older or you care about longevity, this phone starts to make a lot of sense. If this breakdown helped you see the iPhone 18 differently, hit like. It helps more than you think. And if you want the next leak the moment it drops, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because this story is just getting started. Peace out.